guys, I'm Sync.
And I'm Echo.
And we're back once again playing Phoenix Wright, Justice for All. In the last episode, we got to courts, we started our testimony, hearing Acro. And we straight up accused him of murder.
Because that was the great thing.
Because why skirt around the bush? Let's cut right through it.
Okay.
So, yes. I suppose I could have lifted something the size of that bust. I have a strong upper body from working as an acrobat, and only my legs were injured. However, lifting the bust and looking out the window would have been impossible. There's no way I could have exerted that kind of force on my lower body. That makes it impossible for me to have known the location of the ringmaster's head. Thus, it would be unrealistic for me to drop the bust on him, don't you think? I have no doubts in regards to this witness's testimony.
It was impossible for him to lift the bust and carry it over to the window. Not to mention that he could not have known the location of the ringmaster's head. A simple false step would have led to even more severe injuries.
That's what I was thinking. What's your opinion on the matter, Mr. Wright?
I still like to proceed with my cross-examination. He's simply stalling. It's shameful, really. I can't let her get to me. I've got to focus.
Acro's physical state.
Suppose could a lift something the size of that bus, strong upper body. Lifting the bus and looking out the window would have been impossible. There's no way I could exert that kind of force on my lower body. That makes it impossible for me to know the location of the ringmaster's head.
I haven't forgotten what happened 6 months ago, have you? That took.
Meet at 10 p.m. tonight at the Lodging House Plaza. Okay, it's at the plaza, but yeah, still would not have known where they were. I guess. Because there's like under the lamp. There's no like under the lamp.
Well, let's look at all the testimony. Maybe there's some details in there that will help. I mean, not the testimony, the evidence that we have.
The attorney's badge is the most important part.
Yes. Oh, okay. So he fell on top of the box.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I'm remembering the case now. Okay.
He had a box, fell on top of the box, and I guess forensics didn't verify that it was the box that killed the ringmaster.
It was not.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah.
Silk hat.
Found the scene.
Where's the cloak? Cause I understand that the ringmaster may have a silk hat, but it was they said that the ringmaster was possibly wearing Max's outfit.
Oh.
So.
Wait, go back to the note.
To the murder, you haven't forgotten what happened 6 months ago.
I have conclusive evidence of what took place.
Meet at 10 p.m. tonight at the Lodging House Plaza.
What do you think the conclusive evidence was? Pulling apart the note, I have concluded. You remember what happened 6 months ago?
Yeah.
The accident with Acro, with Bat.
Yeah.
I have conclusive evidence of what happened. Meaning...
The pepper? JK.
You're actually close.
Box.
Think about it. The ringmaster wouldn't have had the box with him. If the pepper is the conclusive evidence about what happened, and it was in the box, the box was left there.
Uh-huh. Oh, and then he would know where the ringmaster was looking or
Yeah,
standing.
right?
Because he would have put the box there
Yeah.
before the snowfall, I guess. Or the monkey did.
A 20-pound box. Tiny little monkey.
Yep. But there's no track, so I'm just like, he has to have put it there before the snowfall.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Okay.
Dude, I just want to say, this case is leaving a better impression on me than the first time I played this game.
Why do you say it would be impossible?
Allow me to explain. You accept that I was carrying the bust. I couldn't see below the window. Thus, there's no way I could know the location of the ringmaster's head.
Well, I suppose you got a point. Hey, Nick. Huh? What if you turn things around? Maybe you think of it sort of like this. If he knew the location of the ringmaster's head, then he could have dropped the bus. That does make sense. If only I could prove it somehow.
Way to go, Maya.
That Acro knew the location of the ringmaster's head without looking down.
I think I've already explained things sufficiently.
I swear if I had to press something.
No, you're good. No, not the note.
The witness. Oh, wait, you're talking about the box, right? Sorry, I was thinking this has said that. Okay, my line was thinking it says conclusive evidence, which means the box. My line was like, oh, I need this in order to prove that.
No, you're good.
I turned
Oh,
it to your
careful
mouth.
with the text.
Right.
There we go.
My line of reasoning was switch. They're probably like, why would you know this? This note.
Yeah.
There we go.
Nice.
That was me having a brain fart. Acro, you didn't really need to lean out the window, did you?
What are you driving at, Mr. Wright?
You already knew ahead of time where the ringmaster head was going to be. Quite precisely, I may add. Your silly hinting at things is pointless, Mr. Phoenix, right? I feel like that face and those words do not make sense. Enough stalling. How about you show us some evidence? But I did such a good job hinting.
Yes. Hurry up and explain things, Mr. Wright.
Maybe you should take a look at this. The key point here is the wooden box.
The same wooden box that the victim was found hunched over?
The same. The question is, who placed the wooden box here? Who? When Ben and company saw the ringmaster, they didn't see him holding the box, which means that this wooden box was already placed at the crime scene.
I have to admit that your theory makes a lot of sense.
The moment that the bus came falling down was exactly the moment that the ringmaster lifted up this wooden box. Which means that the answer to all these questions is now crystal clear. Oh my, you mean?
If the bust were to fall upon the point marked out by the wooden box,
There would be no way that it would it could miss the head of the victim. Really?
Order! This is unbelievable.
Finally, some of these loose ends are starting to tighten themselves up. Now we gotta keep going, and there's only one way to go from here, forward.
So the next question I have is, who placed the wooden box at the scene?
It was Mr. Dingling, of course. He's connected to a rope. He connected to a rope, and all he had to do was lower it down. Ow! Allow me to whip some sense into you. Mr. Phoenix, right? Ow, ow, ow! The ringmaster head could have been lit anywhere when he lifted the box. That's why the box was so specially made. Specially made? Indeed. It had the most particular feature. The weight. The weight is 20 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
The box has a remarkable weight. Weight?
According to the court record, it weighs 20 pounds.
Just to lift up this wooden box would have required...
Oh, I see. One would have to squat down and then lift with their body, wouldn't you say?
That's exactly what I was trying to point out. The box is also very large.
The box also has carrying handles on either side, doesn't it?
That is correct. To lift up the box, you have to squat down. Which means that no matter who you are, your head would be in approximately the same place. Fool. Does she even bother to listen to me anymore?
I've heard what you had to say, Mr. Wright. I must admit, I'm shocked at your imaginative skills. You dropped it. Did you drop the bust on the ringmaster? What are you talking about? Even if I had wanted to do such a thing, I couldn't.
What?
Mr. Wright, do you recall the original location of this bust?
This bus?
Mm-hmm.
I remember.
Mm-hmm.
Of course I remember. It was on top of the table in the cafeteria.
Then what happened to it? I'd like you to remember one important fact, Mr. Wright. I could not have possibly left the lodging house by myself.
Ah, that means...
You understand what I mean, don't you? I may very well have been able to drop the bust from my room. However, how would I have gotten the bust from the cafeteria to my room?
You see, Mr. Phoenix Wright, explain that. Don't forget, you said there was no accomplice. Ah! Tell us exactly how the witness would have carried the bus from the cafeteria.
Yep, we definitely have a problem here.
But there's no place to get perplexed. I've got to get my wits about me and prove how things happen once and for all.
Alright, Mr. Wright, let's hear your explanation. How did the witness get the bust from the cafeteria back to his room? So, you mentioned Money the Monkey. He does not count as an accomplice.
But he counts as someone
how he got the bust from the table to his room.
But you said Money the Monkey, he's small. How could he possibly have carried this life-size
Look, like I said, this is why this game makes for a good replay. It's been so many years since I've played this game and you haven't. So I've forgotten a lot of details of this game. So that was just me just thinking out loud, not remembering the case.
Oh, so what I said
was actually the right one.
Right.
I knew that Money the Monkey was not the answer then for the accomplice, but I did not remember how he got to the room.
Money the Monkey wasn't a human accomplice.
Yes.
Let's get this
And
straight. Therefore, he's not an accomplice. Technically, he's not human.
That's how he. Yeah. So you were right much earlier.
I'm always right, JK.
Yeah. A monkey.
Everyone knows.
I was just reminded of the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Monkey.
Everyone knows Money. He loves shiny objects of any size.
For instance, he stole the ventriloquist ring.
The judge said that.
Yes, I know. I
Weird.
made him voice the deeper.
No. I was like, the judge said that. That's weird.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, are you saying the witness had a monkey steal the bus? Of course he didn't order the monkey to steal it. The monkey stole it on his own, and then brought it back home.
Home?
Money lives in Acro's room.
Acro's room?
But the bus was bronze, wasn't it? Bronze isn't all that shiny. Maybe you should put the whip down sometimes and read the court record.
Oh! My, those are some very nice cards he's holding.
Yes, and they are made of platinum, which is very shiny. Gah! Acro. Money is a strong monkey, is it right? It'd be easy for him to bring the bus back to your room.
It's life-sized, like...
The monkey lifted a tuba back to the room. So...
Okay, fair. That's
so
fair.
I'm just like, he lifted the tuba, he might as well be able to lift the bus.
Yeah. If he was able to handle that himself, I'd be on the market for a new roommate. Oh, if he wasn't. Okay. If he wasn't able to do that. Order! I said order, Miss Von Karma! Where is the bust in question at this moment?
Stolen. I don't know. We're searching for it as we speak. What? She like pulls out the phone. Gumshoe, search for the bus.
Gumshoe, I need Max's big bust. This is a very strange turn of events. If that monkey did not steal the bust, then what happens to this case?
Well, in that event, something else must have been used as the murder weapon. Well, or maybe this bust was the murder weapon, but it was used by accident. That's possible. Maybe Acro saw Money's mountain of stolen goods and thought to use one of them. Anyways, I think we've more than proven one critical fact. Namely, that it was entirely possible that Acro was the murderer. Moron.
In all caps, nonetheless. Mr. Wright's argument was so circular, I'm a bit dizzy. However, his argument doesn't hold water. There's no denying that. Ow!
Don't seem so flamboozled, especially by this fraud of an attorney.
Fraud? Yeah, exactly. I got this badge fair and square.
You forgot the absolute most important thing, Mr. Phoenix Wright.
As I said that, I'm actually looking for the attorney's badge on my desk.
And what is that? You should know. Oh. You forgot that your fraud of a magical clown was spotted at the scene of the crime. Ah! There's no reason to doubt the clown's testimony.
That's true. How do you respond to that, Mr. Wright?
Nick, don't let her beat you now. I won't. This is my chance to turn this trial around. When the murder occurred, there were two people at the scene of the crime. One was the victim, Russell Berry, and the other was the murderer himself. Answer this and only this, Mr. Phoenix Wright. The clown saw the murder. Who was it then? It was Monkey. It was Money the Monkey. I still think it was the bus.
It is the bust. You're correct. The murderer is the bust.
Which means because it's sparkly with the platinum ding. The monkey may have stolen it on his own, but Acro, being his owner, we could have seen that and we're like, yeah, I can use this. Take that! He saw Max, but ow! I asked who was the other person Mo saw on the scene. The evidence has nothing to do with the question. En contraire, mon frère,
yeah,
it does indeed
Close
have
enough.
something to do with the question. I apologize to my friend who is French.
I apologize to my friend who is France.
I think I was gonna say who is in France, but what I really meant is French.
Yes.
Mo said he saw Max's silhouette. But he didn't actually see the man himself. It wasn't a human being he saw.
How is that possible?
It's simple, really. What Mo actually saw that night was Max's bust. What are you talking about? Have you tried using your brain at all in this case? The silhouette he saw was just happened to be wearing a cloak. There's no reason why you couldn't attach your cloak to the bus. Or a cloak like that could have easily get snagged on the bus if they come into contact. Idiot. Who is the right man who would have put a cloak on the bus? It doesn't matter who put it on the bus.
Well, just a minute now, Mr. Wright. Who put the cloak on the bust? That question is of the utmost importance to this case, don't you agree? No!
He caught me.
Let's have it, Mr. Wright. Who put the cloak on the bust?
He said it could have got snagged, but that doesn't explain the roses part. Unless the roses fell off. Which we didn't find. But Russell Berry.
He was wearing the cloak.
He was wearing the cloak and the hat. But fool him?
Are you saying it was the victim himself, Russell Berry?
That's what I'm saying. The victim himself placed the cloak on the bus? Place the cloak isn't really the right way of putting it.
Then what would be the right way of putting it, Mr. Wright?
It was caught inside out. That's why there was no roses. Explain yourself. Nick, do you really have a handle on all this? I'm fine, Maya. I'm finally putting all the pieces together. There's only really one picture I can paint anyways. Alright, so you want to know what really happened that night? Let's step back in time. Acro used a rope to lower the wooden box onto the scene. Then he attached that rope to the bus and dangled the bus out of his bedroom door directly above the wooden box. At the same time, the ringmaster told Max to wait in his room and went to the scene. Of course, at the time, the ringmaster was wearing Max's costume. Perhaps he didn't want anyone to recognize him that night. And just as he feared, he was spotted at the entrance of the lodging house by none other than the ventriloquist and his puppet, Ben and Trilo. When the ringmaster arrived at the scene, he was bent over to lift the wooden box. And that's when Acro used his chance and released the rope. Now this is when the magic happens. At the very instant that the bus hit the victim... Oh, that's kind of graphic, don't you think? You wait just a second there, Mr. Phoenix Wright. As much as you try, as much as you scheme, this just isn't true. It can't be. It's still a little early to be getting so upset, Miss Von Karma. This circus isn't over yet. Huh? With the shock of impact, it threw up the cloak and got snagged onto the bus. That's where the sound was heard by the witness, and he took a look out his window. That witness was, of course, Lawrence Mo Curls, the clown. When Mo looked out the window, the cloak had already snagged onto the bus. Now, having completed the crime, Acro naturally went about pulling up the murder weapon. Of course, he had no idea that Mo saw the bus being raised with a cloak dangling on it. Primarily because, in his wheelchair, he couldn't see out his window. So he just kept pulling the bus up. And that is how the magical murderer disappeared into the night came to be. How do you know how the murder... Now you know how the murder actually took place. And now you know who was able to drop the murder weapon from above the scene. Acro, it could have only been you. Acro's been playing mind games with all of us. He sure has. But he has come to the end of his rope now. So, what now? You've graced us with a rather long-winded tale. But do you have any evidence to prove that your fairy tale is true?
Evidence?
In this court, only two things matter. The power of evidence and the power of my whip.
Don't forget the power of my gavel as well. And my axe. Mr. Wright, the prosecution brings up a good point. Can we have some evidence?
Nick, they say they want evidence. I just explained how there could be only one possible murder method, but there's still something unusual about Mo's eyewitness account. Unusual? A contradiction, actually. Okay then, use that and get out of this jam.
That's enough talk amongst yourselves. Proceed, Mr. Wright. Present some evidence to the court that backs your claims. I want hard proof to unravel the trick, this magic case. So there's one thing that does not make sense. Contradiction. And I believe you said it. Yes, you did. Mo did not see the white roses. And so he said maybe it was turned down inside out.
Uh-huh.
So where do we see the white roses? You said the right thing. So where do we see white roses?
On the other side of the bus.
Well, no, in our evidence.
Oh. In our evidence.
Yes.
Yeah, that's history. So.
Absolutely.
Wait, yeah, present. The problem is Max's 3 symbol. You know, the silk hat, the cloak, and the white roses.
Those symbols were a problem numerous times during yesterday's proceedings.
Yesterday, there was only 2 contradictions in Mo's testimony. The silk hat was one and the white roses was the other. But the theory I just presented explained all those contradictions. You fool, do you ever shut up? Well, if we do, we lose our court case and we lose our credential of being a lawyer.
Yeah.
Max's silk hat was found at the scene of the crime. However, remember what Mo said yesterday? He testified that the criminal he saw fleeing the scene was wearing a silk hat. There's only one explanation for that.
The bust.
The silk hat was that Mo saw was actually the bus.
Makes sense. If you look at it that way, then he did see the silk hat. Well, sort of.
Fine, you got one. But what about the other contradiction?
The other contradiction?
Remember what the ventriloquist said in court? He said that he witnessed white roses on Max's chest that night. But the clown's testimony doesn't match. The clown said there was no white roses. I'd like to see you try and explain that one away. Can you do it, Nick? Of course, I can explain all of it. What was that? Please recall the instant when the cloak snagged onto the bus. If the cloak snagged onto the bus, what happened to the white roses? Do you get it yet? The cloak got snagged onto the front of the bus. It means that the white roses will end up on the back of the bus. Ah! Which explains why Mo didn't see it. The white roses were not visible because they were on the back side of the bus.
Order! Order! This is quite the shocking state of affairs. Mr. Wright's theory still sounds a bit absurd to me. However, let's just keep going down this road for a while and see where it leads.
Let's do it, Nick. Maybe Von Karma will finally throw in the towel.
I don't think so. There's one thing we're lacking.
Well, so much for that theory.
Mr. Wright, do you mind?
What is it?
You took the time to research our circus, didn't you?
Well, yes, I did. Is there something making you think that I didn't?
Here it comes. If you did, then maybe you'll understand why I think you're off track. Here it comes. You ready for it?
Why is that?
Motive.
Motive. This witness feels an incredible depth of gratitude towards the ringmaster. Anyone with any relation to the circus were aware of this. Thus, there's absolutely no way someone like this would have killed the ringmaster. But it wasn't supposed to be the ringmaster. It was supposed to be Regina. Your Honor, I'd like you to hear Acro's story. learn about his relationship with the ringmaster and his life up until now. What do we do? There's no doubting that Acro deeply respected the ringmaster. Acro's motive.
It seems that this case isn't over yet. Very well. However, I feel this is a good place to take a break. As do I.
Yeah.
I will listen to the rest of Mr. Dingling's testimony after recess. This court will now take a 10-minute recess.
Go.
To be continued. Alright, guys. Halfway through the trial now. And we will pick up again next time. See you guys then.
Bye.